You should have said no, but I got straight.
Now there's a little grass
Live
that
grass.
slows it down, at least there's something out. What are they doing again with farm? They went behind there, the city graded all, regraded all that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a continuation of that subdivision.
Oh. That's not the school districts behind the park?
No, the school district on the corner. I think they sold.
Right down on the bottom of 59. Oh, they sold that, but they own that whole farm there because
That
they're
they might,
dropping garbage on these.
they might still own that. And then there was talk at the park.
In the corner, on the corner?
I don't know if it was there or close to it.
Oh,
That was a while ago. Then I heard it drop.
well, wasn't the fire department considering that one at one time? Or no,
No,
not that
that's
one.
by the church.
Well, I knew that, but why that one day,
Then,
considering where that horse crowd is?
I think they were looking at trading it.
So,
School district.
Right.
I don't know what they took to school. School.
Especially there on that hill.
No, the front row is open, anybody who wants to sit.
That's okay.
Where would I put my feet?
I think they can see that.
Why is there two, is there a special meeting?
You know, used to say in school, you said, the front row, there's even maybe, and this back is, or it's
Oh, maybe sounds good.
Sounds about. Oh, mine, I was always in the back.
Oh, there it is. Which is unusual.
I get confused. Which was the? Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Town of Waukesha Town Board meeting on May 26, 2016, beginning at 6:30. I'd like to call the meeting to order and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
And Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Chairman Merrick,
Present.
Supervisor Radke,
Here.
Supervisor Fisher,
Here.
Supervisor Wolf,
Here.
Supervisor.
And Madam Clerk, have we met all the open meetings laws?
Yes, we have.
And we can begin with citizens' comments. And seeing none, we can move on to approval of the minutes. We'll begin with May 5th, 2016. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion. We approve the minutes for May 5th, 2016.
And a second. Any discussion? Supervisor Fisher? No. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. On to May 12th, 2016 special meeting.
I'll make a motion. We approve the minutes for May 12th, 2016, the special meeting.
In a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. On to C, May 12th, 2016. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion. We approve the minutes for May 12th, 2016.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Very consistent, Supervisor Radke.
Move it along.
On to new business, discussion and possible action on the following. The sign request, the responsible party is the Girl Scouts of Wisconsin Southeast, location is South 62, West 24528 Town Line Road, tax key is WAKT 1431.999. Is the petitioner here by chance? Hi, good evening. Planner Rybarczyk.
Thank you. Before you tonight is the Chinook program representative for the Girl Scouts. They're looking to put a new entry sign off of Town Line Road at their where the current entrance is at. There is a sign there that they'll be removing. The new sign that they're looking to do is 3 foot by 4 foot. It'll be 7 foot 4 inches in height. It'll be 2 4x4 treated posts with a high density urethane foam board between the posts, and it just identifies the Chinook program center and the entrance. Under the planner comments, I kind of went through the sections of the ordinance, which is the sign ordinance, and they are in compliance with the requirements of the sign code with one exception, and that is the setback. The way that the ordinance is written is that they have to be 10 feet from the property line unless modified by the town board. If you've gone out and looked, the existing sign that's there is well within the right of way. Where they're looking at putting the new sign is right at the property line. I think that if they would move it any further from the property line, you wouldn't see it from likely just pass by it. With that, that's kind of the general overview, and I believe that as part of the discussion tonight for the board is to make a determination if they're fine at the property line, or if you want to see it a foot back, or what your decision would be. So with that, I did put together a staff recommendation. There's 5 conditions, and condition number 2 right now has the blank for the setback. I did have in my report that it's the Blue Heron Girl Scouts, but I do believe that they've gone through a rebranding, and I think it's the Girl Scouts of Southeastern Wisconsin.
Yes, Girl Scouts of Wisconsin Southeast.
Okay. So I would change the permit that we would issue.
Any questions for the planner or the petitioner?
Did you verify the authenticity of this venture from 1959?
It was a joke. It's impressive. 1959, somebody dug it up. Where are your recommendations?
Page 2 of the staff report.
This indenture made this 27th day of January, AD 1959. To S. Roger, a single man. Look at the stamps. Don't see that anymore.
All for $1.
Consider selling.
Not for $1.
I'll bet not.
You should see some of the deeds we have for some of our older camps. We have a camp that just turned 90 years old last year.
I believe it. My wife is heavily involved in the Y, so some of the Y camps are in the same situation.
Is there a motion to allow the sign closer than the minimum setback of 10 feet?
Also move.
In a second,
I'll second.
discussion?
I guess just a comment on that, looking at the photographs and so forth with where the trees and vegetation are and so forth. I don't, and I guess I'll even ask this as a question of planner or bar checker or not, but I don't see how that ends up being an issue with regard to vision or that type of thing down the road and consider, I mean, it would appear as though the vegetation would block vision as much or more as the sign. Is that fair?
That is fair to say.
So are we putting a number on the motion or? 0 feet, 5 feet, 1 foot?
Oh, well, I think the requested was 0. Correct?
That's how I read the drawings. It looked like it was at the property line.
Correct. And our intent was potentially to cut some of the trees down to enhance the view when you're coming from X. View from 164 is fine, but if you're coming from the opposite direction, there would definitely be trees blocking it.
Will you need to cut trees down if we put it on the lot line? Do you think?
Yes,
Or you'll still have to cut some down?
right.
Okay.
But yes, but we
Yeah.
have that in our plans if this is passed.
Yeah, I'll put 0 right on the lot line.
Just a bit of an aside, and maybe Chairman Merrick, maybe you or somebody else wants to give some guidance to the petitioner, but if you're going to do some of that clearing, I mean, just from the photograph, it appears as though at least some of that tree or vegetation is in the right of way and some on the private property area. I would think that that's something that she or they would want to coordinate with the town. Am I not correct on that as to who would be responsible for what part of it?
Well, yes, perhaps. In the ditches, property owners are responsible for the maintenance of the ditch, so she could still do that portion of it. So if some of those appear to be in a ditch, as far as in the town right away, I don't think we have any.
I guess I'm just thinking there ought to be a discussion about that if they're intending to do that with Mr. Nolier or not before proceeding, so there's clear understanding about it.
Fair enough.
Well, my understanding of the issue is that if there's a safety issue caused by vegetation in the right of way, then we will, without permission of the landowner, rectify that situation. But I'm not aware of us keeping a landowner from maintaining a ditch, which includes maintaining but not killing the vegetation. And I don't know that I want to set that precedent.
And I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but I mean, going on the other way, we have had instances, I believe in the past, where we, the town, have done clearing on private land because we're good and wonderful people. So mine is kind of a two-way type of thing. I don't think we want to be doing that either. I'm not disagreeing with your part of it, but I don't think the town should be removing vegetation that's on private property. And I know we have done that in some instances in the past. And I want to make sure we don't do it again.
For sure, you are absolutely correct. It is not, nor should we be, we cannot be on private land to do any type of work. So I would suppose that it is the responsibility of the petitioner to take care of whatever trees and brush he wants to cut down for signage.
But alternatively, I don't want to hold this petitioner to the expectation that they coordinate with the DPW for maintenance of the right of way when we don't hold others to that same expectation.
Fair enough.
That's my only concern, that all of a sudden we're doing something for them that we wouldn't do for others.
So we have a motion and a second to allow the sign within 0 feet of the lot line, so on the lot line. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. B, Fire
I
Commissioner.
guess just a quick question is the understanding in the motion then was to approve the sign? I mean, that wasn't just a setback, it is to approve the sign, issuance of sign permit. Is that what we voted on? That's fine with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
B, Fire Commission appointments. Code of Ordinance 256 sub A, appointment is made by the board for a 5-year term. Right. And I is accept the resignations of Marine German and Robert Johnson. Marine German's resignation will be effective 6/21/16 at the beginning of the Fire Commission meeting on that date. Robert Johnson's was effective immediately on on May. It was effective on the 17th, and we're accepting it as of today. Does that need board action to be accepted, or is it? Okay. On to number 2, appoint a new Fire Commission member to serve from June 22nd, 16 to April 30th, 2019. I would like to recommend an appointment of Brian Webb, who was previously on the commission, would like to step down and would like to rejoin the commission because he thinks he's got value to add.
I'm sorry, is Brian looking at, I'm going to be appointing Brian to the
June, first one.
first one?
Correct. Is there a motion to accept that appointment?
These aren't voted on by the board, are they?
I
I think they're-
made for the board by a 5-year term is what our ordinance is, yeah.
It is?
Right.
Okay. I apologize. I'll make that motion.
In a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to 3, appoint a new Fire Commission member to serve from May 26th till April 30, 2017. I'd like to table this regular meeting of the board. Is there a motion?
So moved.
In a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to C, survey of the town hall property. This was asked for by Supervisor Fisher, I think about a year, maybe a year and a half ago, if you, right? And we did not do it at that time, but moving forward, deciding if we're gonna have salt storage shed here, if we're gonna be adding on to the fire department for barracks or new location for our DPW vehicles. It's gonna be important to know where all these things are located, where we can fit things on the town hall property. So we would like to get permission to negotiate, get some bids for this town hall property survey. And I think it would probably be appropriate to put a dollar limit on it and get it done. I think last time, Larry, you got the bids, didn't you?
I did get a few bids. I can go back in my records and pull up who I got them from, and I can contact them again and bring some prices to the next board meeting.
As I recall, it was in the neighborhood of $5,000. Does that sound about right?
I don't remember.
Would the board be comfortable if we put a limit on it of up to $6,000 to be able to award that survey to a contractor, to the lowest bidder?
I guess the question I have, is it your intention to bring that back to the board again or not?
It would be my intention to not bring it back if we could agree that we would set a dollar limit not to exceed.
I don't have a problem with that. I personally think that number is a bit high, but to give some flexibility, I don't have a problem with it. And I think something probably in the range of about half that is probably what we should be looking at, but I don't have a problem with that authorization.
I would concur.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, the last ones I got included the grade lines. Are we in need of that for what we're looking for?
Yes.
Or do we still want that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We would indeed.
Okay.
And just as a side note, Folk had asked that they be included in the ability to bid on that project.
I think they did, if I'm not mistaken, but.
Is there a motion?
So we're looking for a motion to approve.
Spending up to $6,000 on a survey.
Okay.
I'll make the motion to approve an expenditure up to $6,000 for a survey of the town hall property.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
And who's going to make the decision on that?
If it would be okay, we'll have Larry get the bids and then we'll review them and pick a vendor. Sure.
Do we have a sense of where that money would come from?
DPW. Where everything comes from.
Well, I know that was coming. We can do that out of contract services.
Okay. Anything further? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to D, amend the 2016 capital projects budget by removing the replacement of DPW number 8, the 1988 bucket truck for $60,000 and adding a DPW patrol truck for $60,000. The resolution would be 2015-01. It should be 16, right? 2016-01. Is there a motion?
Before you have a motion, Mr. Chairman, could I ask, I think it would be appropriate to take these as two separate motions.
Yes.
That's appropriate? Okay.
Okay.
So I'd
the-
make a motion that we would remove the allocation of $60,000 for the replacement of the 1980 in the DPW from the capital budget.
And I'll second the motion. I would just ask that somebody would offer an explanation for that to the people in the audience or people who are watching online. I think we ought to give them the explanation.
Sure. Our bucket truck was able to be recertified this year. We had some concerns that perhaps that bucket truck wouldn't be able to be certified because of its age. It was in fact certified, so the DPW can continue to use that. And we want to add to our fleet of snow and ice control so that we get a better handle on that with town employees rather than subcontracting that out at a greater cost. So that's the reason that we're shifting those monies from the bucket truck to another patrol vehicle.
And just one comment, I think it goes without saying the bucket truck, that the motion is to take that out of the capital budget for 2016, I assume that the town board will get the capital budget in a couple of months here going forward, and that may be put back on downstream or something. I mean, it's assuming we're gonna need a bucket truck, it's probably not gonna last forever, so that's a discussion for another day. Fair enough?
Agreed. Anything further? We've got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then a motion to take that $60,000 and use it for the purchase of a DPW patrol truck. And that would be Resolution 2016-01. Is there a motion?
Make that motion.
And a
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to E. Authorize the chairman to negotiate the purchase of a DPW patrol truck up to $60,000. Is there a motion?
I'll make the
Okay,
motion.
and I think we need to back up. On the capital project budgets, those need roll call votes. My apologies. So on the first one, there was a motion made by Supervisor Durr and seconded by Supervisor Fisher, and Madam Clerk will need a roll call vote.
Supervisor Durr.
Aye.
Supervisor Fisher.
Aye.
Chairman Merrick.
Aye.
Supervisor Radke.
Aye.
Supervisor Wolf.
Aye.
And on to the second motion, which was to divert those funds for the purchase of a patrol truck, was a motion made by Supervisor Durr and seconded by Supervisor Wolf. Madam Clerk, we have a roll call.
Supervisor Durr.
Aye.
Supervisor Fisher.
Aye.
Chairman Merrick.
Aye.
Supervisor Radke.
Aye.
Supervisor Wolf.
Aye.
Motion carries. And on to E, authorize the chairman to negotiate the purchase of a DPW patrol truck up to $60,000. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I think since that's spending money, we'll also need a roll call vote on that.
That's
You're safe and sound.
Madam Clerk?
Supervisor Durr.
Aye.
Supervisor Fisher.
Aye.
Chairman Merrick.
Aye.
Supervisor Radke.
Aye.
Supervisor Wolf.
Aye.
And motion carries. On to F, operators licenses for Ethan Effinger, Sydney Ellert, and Victoria Tallinger. If there's no objection, we can take these all at once.
I'd prefer to take them separate, please.
Okay. And let's start with Ethan Effinger. Is there a motion?
I'd make a motion to approve Ethan Effenger's request. First license.
And a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to Sydney Ellert. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve Sydney Ellert's operator license.
In a second?
I'll second.
Discussion?
I have a couple of questions. On the Q&A form, Sydney answered yes to violation of closing hours at a licensed premise and other violations pertaining to this. And in response to that, I think down at the bottom, she answers those. But then to the question of, do you have any criminal or ordinance charges presently pending against you? The answer was yes, and I don't know that those were addressed. Were they?
Later on.
I didn't think that being in a bar after hours and driving,
Nothing came up on
Her background check.
Well, the driving unregistered vehicle,
well, unregistered, that's what it is, unregistered vehicle. I mean, I gotta believe those are not pending yet from 2013.
You want me to check and just see whether any notes?
I would.
do you want to do that now? You want, yeah, or is it wasn't on CCAP? Is that what you're saying?
It was not in secret.
Okay.
So I saw nothing.
Do you want to table this then to the next meeting of the board?
Yes, I would. So I'd make a motion to table this application.
Oh, my,
Oh, thank you.
all right, so we can do one of two things. Supervisor Radke and Supervisor Wolf, you could withdraw the motion, or we can vote on it and then move to table.
I can withdraw it, Chair.
I'll withdraw.
Is there a motion to table to the next regular meeting of the board?
So move.
In a
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to Victoria Tallinger's operator's license. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve Victoria Tallinger's operator license.
And I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to G, denial of notice of claim from Peggy Serwin pertaining to an accident with plow truck on 2/2/16. This is a result of a lawsuit against the town. Jerry had backed into a vehicle while he was assaulting, caused no damage to our vehicle and I think minimal damage, if any, to the other vehicle. As a matter of fact, I don't think I saw in the claim there was even a claim for damage, was there? Or there was, okay.
$5,000.
$5,000. It is the regular process for us to deny that claim so that our insurance company can then represent the town and defend the town and assign an attorney to that. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we deny the claim and send the letter as directed in the packet.
Any discussion?
Just a couple of comments or information for you guys. I did call the claims department and asked them if this was typical procedures. I've never been involved in a municipality claim. And they said, yes, that follows this Wisconsin statute that they also follow. And in order for this to process further, the town or the municipality needs to deny it, or I guess you could accept it if you wanted to. And that then starts the clock, and they have a statute of limitation of 6 months to finalize the claim. So it's not to say that they won't pay anything, but it at least forces them to submit the paperwork and process the claim.
Thank you. Anything further? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to 7, accounts payable authors.
I'm not sure.
We can,
Madam Clerk, I request a roll call vote.
Supervisor Durr,
Aye.
Supervisor Fisher,
Aye.
Chairman Merrick,
aye.
Supervisor Radke,
Aye.
Supervisor Wolf.
Aye.
Motion carries. On to 7, accounts payable authorization for payment of the bills. The first one in the amount of $1,617.80 for Rupert and Milky.
So moved.
And a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry. A lot of roll calls tonight.
Yes.
Please.
Supervisor Durr,
Aye.
Supervisor Fisher,
Abstain.
Supervisor, Chair.
Aye.
Supervisor Radke,
Aye.
Supervisor Wolf.
Aye.
Can I just explain to the rest of the board? After going through the ordinance on motions, it had made the comment that in our ordinance that we needed to take a roll call when we're paying the bills. So that's why we made the change.
And on to the second in the amount of $92,048.92. Is there a motion?
Also move.
And a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, a roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Durr,
Aye.
Supervisor Fisher,
Aye.
Chairman Merrick,
Aye.
Supervisor Radke,
Aye.
Supervisor Wolf.
Aye.
Motion carries. On to 8, announcement of the closed session. You're hereby notified that the town board of the town of Waukesha will convene and may, upon duly made and seconded motion acted upon by roll call vote as required in Wisconsin Stats 1985 sub 1 sub E, go into closed session. During the course of the town board meeting, the town board members may attend the closed session. The purpose of the closed session will be as follows. The purpose of the meeting for deliberating or negotiating or purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business. Whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session as authorized under 1985 sub 1 sub E, specifically to discuss the sheriff's services. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
I'll make the motion, we go into closed session.
And a second.
Second.
And Madam Clerk, would we have a roll call vote?
Supervisor Durr,
Aye.
Supervisor Fisher,
Aye.
Chairman Merrick,
Aye.
Supervisor Radke,
Aye.
Supervisor Wolf.
Aye.
Motion carries, and we'll adjourn to a closed session we'll be back as soon as possible.
I don't want to tear down the next house, that's.
Oh, that is terrible.
I don't want that to happen.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's such a big building. Yeah, I don't care if it's a restaurant, but. It's nice to
Well,
build.
it's a nice restaurant, too. It was heavy food, but,
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
yeah, we could really eat something. He's a-
Too nice.
yeah.
Too nice to be. Well, I'll see you the next time.
I hope so. Mhm. I don't see the, yeah, but I don't see the hand for the sun. Maybe I'm just. It's in, yeah. Maybe we didn't need that. couldn't have it for years, but I wanted to find it for a couple of years.
My grandson was afraid of this, didn't pay for their ID or whatever. And he wrote a long letter that he could not get it because of his profile. With a long letter. In charge of everything. Yeah, I was going to contract the road. That can contact anybody in the environment bosses. I mean, they lost it. Even when they got rid of him, he would get through that.
For medical reasons,
They said, and this is somebody in personal HR department, so issues of the room. My room, you know, doctor friend,
but that's what I had to do. If you didn't know.
that was the first day I saw that. Whatever. And the government, for the most part, will that the vaccine will work. Who's all invited? They pick up, well, this is the one we received. Why did you tell me that? I mean, that's just absurd. But it's a whole long history. And the needs to look at the phone, and yesterday was black, good, it was me, just standing for the It's so neat to see them. I mean, I think I was watching the beans. Peas, I see, so a little bit proud of it. I actually felt it. One, two, nice, in March. It was a warm day, like 25, sunshine, kind of. Beach house, I mean, it was about 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I come back here, in fact, I transplanted a whole bunch of them, so I can eat the spinach. Spinach is very nice. But I'm sorry, I put next year I'm gonna do spinach and rice. That's why I call smoking.
I was thinking about it.
I have a fence around.
Yeah, and I was have to do it as a pencil. Because we saw a wood chop out of it. He doesn't get me so that the boxes, but he makes it
I have one really nice type of pork right now. I noticed things missing on the garden. There's no way around it. Because and my gardens are raised up this high. And there's a fence up there. They have big holes in the garden. And they just eat from one side to the other. I got in, they're swooped up. 5 feet each day. Never seen this.
And the boxes are written,
Look over it.
oh yeah. there is, hospital. And then, traffic, I can't remember, trail camp. And put it all in night and
Keep the rabbits and chickens and all those, because they're toxic.
yeah, well, they're using their sport.
This is a little-
Yeah, I do that one, because I seen parts of it first. I was like, oh.
You know, I think about it, if I just say the country that goes on the radio, but I think it's. Yeah. I thought they just renewed it. Something. So, yeah. I don't mind that. That's some of your people. I bought a little thing tree. And big areas. What's your head? But the problem is, you can drive along and if you want to say something, beep, everything in the middle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was too much.
Sussex is. Where was it? Was that right? So much. For my sister. They adopted that last chancellor. If it was 15, 16, 17, so that's, we come back at 6 today. Remember your age? 16, 17.
I remember that I was called the part of the
Two hangers on.
Of course.
That wasn't bad.
No.
You might even have the hot burgers. I didn't even drink my water.
Okay, we are back in open session. Is there a motion?
I'll make a,
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion that we allow the chairman to negotiate the new sheriff's contract as discussed in closed session.
In a second. Second. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
Opposed.
Motion carries. Number 10, motion for adjournment.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.
Yes,
we do. There is water in back.
Shape on me.